Morning guys, so for this week, Pavel over on the Facebook page asked me how you go about reading tablature, and because he's struggling to sort of understand where your finger placements are, what the numbers mean, what different notations mean, and so on and so forth. So I thought I'd drop a lesson on how to understand, basic tabs. We'll go over the chord formation tabs, and we'll also go over the tabs that just sort of depict numbers, as it were, that go across. So two different forms of tab that you'll be able to sort of get to grips with. It is important when you're learning your music to sort of get to grips with, I would say, both tabs and chords. It makes it easier when you're trying to learn a song, you sort of recognise shapes in tablature. But if you try and mix the two together, you're going to start to improve. But for today, we'll go over the tabs and see where we go from there. Just before we get into the lesson, as always, I do appreciate the support that you're giving me here. So don't forget to drop me a cheeky like and a cheeky subscribe as always. But for now, let's jump into the lesson and let's see if we can learn this. Okay guys, so learning tablature. Now, tabs tend to be denoted in one of two ways, which will look something like I've put here for you. So you've got one which depicts sort of numbers going across with some palm mutes in there. And you've got another which will depict your notes. Okay, so for this particular lesson, we're going to just keep it simple with some open chords, your G major and your D major. So your G major formed here, and D. Okay, now when you're looking at tabs, the first one we'll go over is chord formation. Okay, so if we start with the G major tab here. Okay, so you can see it's set out in boxes with some numbers on it, okay? Those boxes depict your frets, okay? So fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, 4, 5, and so on down, okay? The thickest line at the top will often denote your nut, so here. Okay, so you can see here we're clearly starting from 1, tab 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then going down again from there. If you're starting at a different point on the guitar, you will often see this section here will have a number on it. So it may say number 4, which denotes that you need to start at fret number 4 here. And then the tabs that come thereafter will be the corresponding frets down your neck. Okay, so for this one, we're starting out, as you can see, just on the open chords up here. On the first 3 of your frets up here. So what you'll see is it will say numbers 1, 2, and 3. These denote your fingers, okay, and where your fingers need to be. And the lines themselves denote the strings, okay. So where number 2 is actually your 6th string, and number 1 is on your 5th string, and then 4, 3, 2, and the first string is down the bottom there. Okay, so going from your left to your right, the left-hand side of the tab denotes the 6th string, and then down through the lines which denote your strings, down to the right-hand side, which is your 1st string. Okay? If you're with me so far, you're doing well. Right, so to form the chord, what it's showing you is that your 1st finger needs to be on your 5th string at the 2nd fret. Okay? Because you've got no numbers up here. Right, no numbers are showing at all, so you know that you're starting on frets 1, 2, 3, and down from there. All right, so 1 will mean your 1st finger to be on string number 5 at the 2nd fret. The number 2 denotes that you are on the 6th string with your 2nd finger, or your middle finger if you prefer to call it that. And then you'll see there's a number 3, which falls under that number 2 down on the 1st string down here. Okay, that denotes your 3rd finger, so your ring finger, is down there on the 1st string, also at the 3rd fret. And that is forming your G major chord, okay? What you'll also notice at the top of the tab is what look like little zeros. Now those denote that you need to play those strings open. So you're not muting the strings, you're not missing the strings, okay? So what the tab is telling you is that you need to play all 6 strings with your fingers positioned as I just showed you. And where those other strings are, with no numbers on them, there's a little 0 at the top of the tab. And that denotes that you play those strings open. So with no pushing down, but you still play the string, okay? So you're playing all 6 strings here. Okay, and that's what that means. Now, if we move across to the D major chord, okay, which is formed thusly. Okay, so you can see here, we're now at the higher strings, and it's telling you to put your first finger on string number, what are we on? Sorry, string number 3 at fret number 2. It's telling you to do the same thing with your second finger, fret number 2 on string number 1, and your third finger is going up to string number 2 at the 3rd fret. And that is what that's denoting, okay? Now, what you can see here is on the open string, so from string 6 up here, coming down, strings number 6 and 5 have an X next to them, up the top of your tab. That means you do not play those strings, okay? So we're not going all 6 strings down because you get a funny sound. Okay? So what you're doing is you're playing from the 4th string down. You see where that 0 is? What looks like a 0? You're playing from that string down. So you find your 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And you're playing from that string down. So you're hitting that string and straight down. And that's how you get your D major chord. And that is how chord tabs tend to be made up. Okay? So they're fairly simple. It just takes a little bit of getting used to try and understand, you know, where they are. For example, when you're playing that G major chord, you may sometimes see this with a little X, for example, on the 5th string underneath where your middle finger is. That denotes that you mute that string. Okay, so you're effectively having to use your middle finger to lay sort of on the top of that string. But there are little sort of, you know, other notations, but just for the basics, that is, you know, how these chords are formed, and that's what that tablature means. Now, if we switch to the other way tabs are written, as you can see here, so this doesn't denote notation, as it were. So it doesn't denote a chord. Instead, it just shows you a series of numbers, okay? So what this is showing you is your 6 strings again. So from the lowest string, so the one down the bottom, that is string number 6. And then going to the string all the way at the top is string number 1. Okay, so for this one, you'll see on strings number 5 and 4, it says 5, which means that on strings 5 and 4, you are playing those strings on the 5th fret. So 5s, they're both 5s, so you know that they're both on the 5th fret here, and it wants you to play strings 5 and 4. So you can bar that, or just use 2 fingers, okay? And you'll see that it doesn't denote any other notes, okay? So there's no other numbers, there's no crosses, no nothing. This is telling you to just play those 2 strings, okay? The 5s. Okay, and that is what this basically means. So here it's showing you to play the 5s, and then you can see it drops down a string to strings number 4 and 3 at the 3rd fret. The 3rd fret, I should say. Nice little tongue twister first thing in the morning for me, eh? And again, you are just playing those two notes. Because it's gone up to number 5, you see that? So you've gone from 5 and 5 on strings number 5 and 4, down to strings number 4 and 3 on the 3rd fret, then again, 4 and 3 still, but you're up at fret number 5, and then you'll see there's 2 crosses. That depicts that you need to mute those strings, so you're effectively not playing them. You're just lightly laying your finger on the strings and not pushing down, and then striking. So you've just got that mute sound. You can also palm mute back at the bridge. Okay, that is what that's depicting there. And then you're back to your 3 up here. Okay, so those are the 2 types of tablature that you're going to come across. Now, there are different symbols written in tabs, especially this latter one that I've shown you with the numbers. You'll often see sort of what looks like a /, something like this, which depicts that you need to slide up, or a backslash, which means you need to be sliding down. Okay, but I will try and get like a sheet, I guess, of the symbols that you need to sort of learn between slides, hammer-ons, and mutes, and so on. I'll get them over on the Facebook page. I'll try and get them up on my website as well, so you've got a point of reference, should we say, in case you need to sort of look for, you know, what different symbols mean. But effectively, those are the two types of tab that you're going to get. Okay, the chord tabs and I don't quite know what to call them, if I'm being brutally honest. I'm sure some of you out there will know, but I'll just call them number tabs for now. So you kind of need to learn both, okay, so that you're able to depict chords and you're able to depict the numbers. Because sometimes, for example, you will see tabs that denote, you know, it will say, for example, from strings 6 to 1, it may say 3, 3, and then it will say 5, 5, 4, 3. And you may be thinking, well, how the hell am I going to get all my fingers that? But what that is depicting to you is to effectively be playing a bar chord, like so. Okay? And that is where learning your chords comes in. When you look at the tablature in numbers, you're then going to know that, okay, these numbers are clearly telling me I need to be playing a bar chord. It's the same with arpeggiated picking as well. You're going to be able to look at the numbers and say, okay, well, if I'm forming a D chord, but it's telling me that I need to pick the strings individually. So it may say, you know, as you're going along the numbers, that you need to be picking fret number 2 on string number 3, and so on. So you're just arpeggiating. Okay, you're going to learn that a lot easier if you know a bit of both. Okay, so try and get your head around both chord tabs and number tabs, and you're going to get along a lot better. You're going to find your music comes along, because you're going to be able to read both, understand both, and play a lot more songs. So have a go at both. Let me know how you get on. If you struggle, don't forget, you can always drop me a message, drop me something in the comments below, or drop me a message over on Facebook. I do try to respond to everybody, as you know, and I will try and help where I can. But for now, see how you get on with those chords. Don't forget, as always, give me a cheeky like and subscribe. We are back over the weekend with a little song lesson. We're looking at Whole Lotta Rosie by AC/DC, so we'll go over that as well. But for now, have a go at reading the chords, have a go at reading the tabs, go back through the video if you need to, just to refresh your memory. Let me know how you get on. But until next time, guys, stay safe, and I will catch you over the weekend.